Hey and welcome to BoatProjectY. Thank you for joining us as we unveil the secrets behind transforming this extraordinary vessel and discover the hard work, the exceptional craftsmanship and the unyielding spirit of adventure that accompanies every build. Ahoy shipmates! My first mate, aka my son, is hard working, making the freshly sanded chain locker spick and span. Now comes the tried and true phosphoric acid treatment. For those tuning in for the first time or anyone who is a bit hard of hearing, no judgment there, we've all been there after a long day of grinding, here's the drill. After scrubbing and blasting away the rust with a needle gun or a rotating steel brush, we clean the surface thoroughly. Rust particles love to hide in tiny nooks and crannies, and those little troublemakers can kickstart the rusting process all over again. So enter the phosphoric acid. It turns rust into water and phosphate. The stronger the concentration, the faster it works, but it's also more corrosive, meaning it'll start to nibble on the metal itself, so I dilute mine, 1:1 with water. The phosphate bonds with the steel, creating a solid foundation for paint. So, after a few days rest, let's see what we get. Here you can see the rust turning into phosphate by the black color, while the white is just a residue from the evaporated water. I'll wipe that away before breaking out the paintbrushes. Righty, the rust converter definitely did its job. It's now a matter of removing whatever residues left. A wire brush would do the trick, but you know me, I like to use the right tool for the job, so I got a treat for you. Follow me along. Well, here you go, meet the Mag 9000. A rust-busting super tool. With its standard M14 tread, it can handle about any nozzle or disc you throw at it. And since pneumatic tools have almost no moving parts, this baby is built to last for a lifetime. Remember Holger Claassen, the company I raved about in the last episode? Well, it turns out they don't just sell the tools, they've also got a line called Legacy Tools, and this is one of them. Every legacy tool is designed in Hamburg by a team of experts who work closely with customers to meet the demands of the industry, and then it is built by their trusted partners. They told me 1,000 of these are out there on the high seas because every steelboat owner, big or small, needs a reliable tool that fits in tight spots. As always, check the description for links to all the tools I'm using and their websites. Now, as you can see, in between the ribs, the hull is not lining up with my new steel. So I could use the dog and wedge method. I'll explain that in another video, but this time I'm using my pump again. It's easy, fast, and it does the job. With little help from my wonder wand, more on that soon, and finally those dreadful weld blobs, they're history. Because hallelujah, I've got my welding wire for my MIG welder again. Et voila, out with the old, in with the new. Alright, the dog and wedge method. Pay attention, because this is important. What I tried to make, but failed to film, was this wedge out of pretty thick metal and a dog. Basically, this one's gonna slide underneath the dog. You want to weld your dog to the lowest part, and then when I'm gonna hit the wedge in between the dog and the new plate, basically the dog will come out and meet the plate for me, ready to weld. So, now that this is done, I can remove this one. And then, since I only welded the dog on one side, should be easy to remove. Yeah! There you have it. With my newfound confidence in my welding skills, I was raring to go and gave the inside of the bow some fresh, beautiful welds. Now, while I'm at it, I've been told if I hold a copper plate on the outside of the boat and I try to weld shut this hole here, that might work, so it's worth giving it a shot. sincerely hope this does the trick. Let's find out. Wow! Wow! I was so blown away by the results that I totally forgot to document it properly, but let me tell you, I'm over the moon. It exceeds all of my expectations. Still, I gave the outside a quick sanding and added an extra layer of weld just in case. I mean, better safe than sorry, right? I can hardly believe how well that went. Check it out. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for. I'll breeze through the port side since it's a mirror of the starboard work. But if you want the nitty-gritty, check out the previous episodes. And yes, I know it's not waterproof yet, but I'm leaving the heavy-duty welding to a pro to ensure sweet dreams and a dry boat. So, fair winds and good night to you all.